Okay, good evening. This is Mendon Select Board, September 26, 2022. And attending with Select Board member Val Taylor and myself is Justin Lindholm at this point. And I'll announce if anyone else comes in. And we are being recorded on PEG TV. All right, the first thing on our agenda is to add or delete items to the agenda. The only thing I have was just came in is a AARP winter placemaking grants. The deadline is October 19th, 2022. No matching funds are required. And this would be for the recreation area, and there was a suggestion from our town administrator to, if we get the grant, to purchase handicap accessible picnic tables. I know the ones we have down there are pretty sad shape, so this would be good if we got this grant. So we'll add that under business, which is number 6, item I. The only other thing under administrative matters, number 4, signing of orders, we have one typo. There's an amount there that should read, it's dated September 23rd, 2022. Good evening. For $595.50, so cross out the 8. All right. Ann and Steve Stingheiser have joined us, Sarah.
Thank you.
Barry, which was that, the 595?
What's that?
What was the correction you just made?
Oh. Right here, it's got 580 cents.
Okay, thank you.
Also under announcements, our next select board meeting will be on Tuesday, September 11th at 8:30 a.m. due to the holiday on Monday, September 10th. The remainder of the select board meetings from October 24th to December 19th will be focusing on the budget cycle. Since there's only 2 select board members, we're going to need to focus on that. Also under announcements, Bryan Sell has submitted his resignation from the Select Board effective September 30th, 2022. Fred Bagley has joined us, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We want to thank Bryan for the time he has served with us. We're going to miss him, but he is stepping down in 4 days. Bringing that up, we are already searching for another select board member to fill in from now until the election in March. So anyone that's interested, they can contact Sarah with a letter of interest. It'd be a good time to jump on and learn and go through the budget cycle. Also, my term ends March 1st, 2023. My commitment was to come back onto the select board for 28 months, and I will finish my 28 months as of March 1st, and I will not be seeking re-election. So there's 2 positions that need to be filled, and one will be a 2-year term, and the other will be a 3-year term.
Sir, do we have a motion for the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry. We did not. So motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the AARP Winter Placemaking Grant, which will be under business, letter I.
Second that.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We have an agenda. Brian Gates has joined us. Local Hazard Mitigation Plan, that's under here, under announcements. Is going to be presented at a Planning Commission meeting on October 3rd, 2022, and a public comment period will extend to October 24th, 2022. From there, it'll eventually be coming back to the Select Board as a draft for our approval, and then it heads to Vermont Emergency Management for approval, pending adoption, and from there it goes to FEMA at the end of the year. I don't think I missed anything. So. All right, we're down to administrative matters, signing of orders. What do we have here? Make a motion to approve the orders for September 23rd, 2022, the amount of $595.50 and $26,397.36, and a payroll for September 19th, 2022, in the amount of $11,462.99.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Give it a minute, we'll sign these. Under administrative matters, item C, the minutes. Let's do the minutes. The first one is the minutes of August 8th, 2022, and the two select board members present are myself and Bryan Sell, and if Bryan Sell is not on with us, then these minutes cannot be approved. And the second minutes are September 12th, 2022. So these not going to get signed. Brian is not on with us, is he? No.
I don't believe so.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 12th, 2022 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. And now we're on to delinquent properties to be submitted for tax sale request to turn over to attorney Nancy Merrill, our delinquent tax collector, has sent a notice to the select board, which I will read. I'm asking the board for permission to send 2 properties to attorney Chris Corsone to begin tax sales. The first one is AC Acquisitions. It's a 242-acre parcel. All the mail she has sent has been returned. She has not been able to reach them, and she has tried internet search, and both lawyers from the property sale also in contacting both lawyers from the property sale, and they have also have no more information. The total amount due for that property is $4,055.95. The second one is Krista Raymond. It's 0.5 acres in a dwelling. She's not picking up her certified letter or answering phone numbers that Nancy had from last year. Nancy stated, "I will leave a notice on her door also." And that's for $1,189.12. So I'll make a motion to approve our delinquent tax collector Nancy Merrill to contact attorney Chris Cressones to begin tax sales. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We're down to public comment, and since our minutes are being recorded remotely, I ask anyone that speaks to state their name. Anyone? Okay?
Brian Gates.
Yep.
And I also have a video of July 25th meeting in entirety. I've tried to give to Sarah, but she won't accept it for some reason. Nobody in the town wants to help me anymore. I guess I'm an outcast now.
Is it okay if I read these, or let you go through them?
It's okay.
Yeah, you should read them.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd like some answers to them, too.
The first one, it's a request to add to the meeting minutes, this meeting minutes.
Huh?
Which meeting? You add to the meeting minutes, there's no date
You
here.
read it?
Well,
I didn't read it.
yeah, but I have to, what, are the minutes now or previous minutes?
Previous minutes, probably. We've been asking for a lot of previous minutes that we aren't getting. Now that we're on go-to meeting, we're hoping that we could, you must have opened the app and we can get all the go-to meetings that we've been asking for the last two years.
The first one, what were the conditions Select Board member Bryan Sell was talking about in the Rutland Herald article?
What
The only,
conditions were- they were
well,
asking-
you're asking me to answer you.
Yeah,
The only one that can answer that is Bryan Sell. And he has resigned. Megan Smith has joined us, Sarah. You weren't here at the beginning. Bryan Sell has resigned as of September 30th, and he is not attending the 2 meetings in September, so can't answer that one. Is this current select board still seeking that this orderly ordinance be put through now that Mr. Sell will be resigning? That is not on our agenda. We're not discussing it at this point. Who in the town had the authority to ask Val Taylor for her personal phone and gather personal messages between her and a resident of Mendon. I don't have an answer for that one.
Do you, Val? Who asked you for a phone? Who in town asked you for your phone?
I don't think I need to answer this.
Well,
yeah, you do.
your number's published. It's on the website.
No,
what?
the town demanded her phone. I want to know who in the town has the authority to demand her phone to get personal messages.
I okayed it.
I want to know who asked. That's what we're asking. Who asked
I
in
don't
town?
think,
You called me and said they're demanding my phone. Those were your exact comments when you called me and said they're demanding
Not
me
my
to give her the
phone.
phone.
my text
And I said, you
messages.
do not have to give them your phone. Only
I
a
did
judge-
not.
Only a judge can demand your phone. Go ahead, make one up.
The last one are
Do
these.
you want me to answer, or are you
Oh,
gonna sit
sorry.
there
Of
and
course I'm
just,
not.
Sorry.
I
Okay.
asked.
then stop? Thank you,
I called you in charge, but you don't answer calls anymore.
for all of our good, okay?
Is that how I'm gonna be treated in town from now on? I don't get the same service as everybody else.
I'm gonna answer your question.
Right, just let her answer. She's going to answer.
Someone asked for the text, and I said, okay,
Who?
it doesn't matter.
It does.
Didn't matter to me.
It
Someone
doesn't-
asked for my,
It matters to me because it was my personal information.
and you are responsible for
So I'm
your
asking
texts.
who, you told me that the town was
I
demanding.
will not talk about that.
You told me
at a
the town
public
was
meeting.
demanding your phone.
That's
I
not what
wanna
I
know
said.
who-
Do you
yeah.
have that on recording? Because that's not what I said.
That's exactly what you
No,
said.
that's
Well, I
not-
don't know what to do, you said. I said, don't give it to him.
You're more than welcome to sit, and I'll respond, please.
I can stand too.
You can.
Yeah, why not?
They asked for my text messages.
Who had the authority to ask you for that?
I work with these people.
Well, personally, you usually don't give up your phone. You called me and said the town was demanding your phone. And I said, don't give it to them. I don't know what to do. That's what you told me. I said, don't give it to them, because they don't have the authority to take your phone. Only a judge has the authority with a subpoena to get your phone. You don't have to give your personal phone up to anybody.
I shared a text message.
That's not what you told me. You
I-
said you were being demanded by the town.
Oh my gosh.
Yes or no?
Will you sit down and let me answer the question? Thank you very much.
What's the difference about sitting on a stand?
It makes a difference to me because it makes me feel like you might be listening to the answer. Okay? Are we listening?
Well,
Thanks.
you're lying, obviously.
I don't lie, Brian.
Brian, would you let her, she's trying to respond to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I shared a text message, okay? And they, doesn't matter who, persons of the town, asked for my text messages that you and I shared, and I said, absolutely, you can have them.
I asked you not to share my personal information.
If you don't want me to
I
share,
asked you that before you did.
it's my phone.
This is true. You told me you were being demanded. You didn't tell me you were just giving it up, but that's okay. Now I understand.
I called you, as I would call anybody else, that I had a personal conversation with.
That's right, it was a personal conversation.
And I told the town. I
Who the
called,
town? What do
will
you
you
mean, the town?
stop
Who's
talking?
the town? I want to know who
You
the-
know everybody
who
that,
the town
okay,
is.
I'm not gonna do this.
I don't
Of
know.
course not, because you don't have a proper answer.
I think I've answered your question.
No, you didn't. I asked who.
If you're not gonna listen, you can leave.
I asked
Brian.
who. Name, please. Who
She-
asked you for your phone?
she's-
Can't you just answer that?
I don't have to answer.
She's not going to answer that. I can tell you, it was not a request from the select board, but I can't answer it. She's not going to answer
It must
you.
have been Sarah Tully, Nancy Gordella, or Jesse.
And-
There's only those three other people in town. So who was it? Sarah? Yes or no?
She's not going to answer.
Okay. They never answer any of my questions anyway. This is
The
why
last
I
one
asked.
are the select board meetings that were held online during COVID, March 2020, April 2021, available for viewing, and if not, why not? Were they ever recorded? If so, why not? Were they purposely deleted? If so, by whom? I would have to defer that to,
Sarah?
either Nancy or Jesse. Jesse knows kind of the IT on that part.
We've been denied for 2 years for them, so.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment?
What's going on with my neighbor's driveway? It's been over 2 months.
That's on the agenda coming
Seems
up.
like it's just going on.
That's on the agenda coming
I
up.
thought it was still public comment.
Well, no, it's
You didn't
it's
say
an
it was
agenda
over.
item. Okay, I will answer it when we get to the agenda item.
Okay, am I allowed to talk then? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, the first one is request to review the July 25th, 22 minutes.
I've sent the town a video of the meeting in entirety, but it's not the same in the minutes at all. The minutes don't reflect the video. at
So,
all.
my knowledge that your video did not come through, is that correct, Sarah?
He texted to my town cell phone.
I sent it to Val, I sent it to you, and I sent it to Sarah.
I didn't get it.
You guys never, hey, like you said, you don't answer my texts at all. I sent it to Val.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Remember, I sent it on that text. But you probably didn't watch it.
I watched some of it.
All right.
Brian,
What?
be civil.
I am being civil. You're not being civil.
So the July 25th minutes were approved August 8th, 2022 at a select board meeting. At that August 8th, 2022 select board meetings, there were 2 select board members present, myself and Bryan Sell. In order to make any amendments, it would take, or any changes to the minutes, it would take a vote by both Bryan Sell and myself, and it's a technicality, Bryan Sell's gone.
Isn't that convenient? For all of you.
Okay.
I have the video. Can I have it on PEG TV so everyone can see it? How convenient.
All right, so access permit, Tara Lane, South Mendon Road, Woodward Road, and Eastwood Circle. The information I have, starting with Tara Lane, is a contractor has been hired to redo the driveway. South Mendon Road, there was an access permit required. I think Bill is waiting for that to be submitted. Woodward Road, I think that, according to Bill, everything's going fine there. He's pleased with the result. Eastridge Circle, there's a video that's going to be sent to Road Commissioner Bill Ellis with water going through the culvert, and it may be working. They're also working with their paving contractor. So that's pending with information coming from Bill Ellis. Community Center, request for postcards, mailing, and survey. Megan Smith.
So, it's less than $300 to do the postcard to the entire grand list. And it was $255 last time, but we couldn't tell postage had gone up since then. The last time there was a full mailing. So I am requesting that we do a postcard asking people to go to the website and fill out the survey for community interest in the community center. So it would be a link on the website to a SurveyMonkey survey. And the questions that I came up with were, I added one from last week from our conversation saying, would you support a municipal bond as part of the funding? Because that was something you had mentioned that I put in there. So it's a five questions, and I just want to get a pulse of the community before we do any more further work.
In that figure again, Megan, was, I know it's under 300. Two,
It was, she
We'll
said the
just-
last one was 255 for the entire, grand list.
okay.
And we think that was recent enough that the postage rates have not gone up since then. But she said if they had, it would still be under 300.
All right, so in conversation with Nancy today, they're gonna help you with the postcard, but then the putting on the stamps, which I've done before, will put you in the twilight zone. You want help and take breaks, because it's like the stack of postcards does not go down.
I used to
They
send
can't
out
do that.
many mailings from the Vermontians, so I.
Well, yeah, it's just like,
I'll have my kids come home and
Yeah.
help me, because we used to lay it all out.
it takes hours.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
get my committee together.
We also discussed, and that's gonna be up to you, discussing with Nancy, to use either the grand list or the voter checklist. Grand list, I wouldn't, just personally not recommend that, because those postcards, I think 30 to 33% of our property is owned by out-of-staters. And you'd be sending postcards to Washington DC, Montpelier, all over the place, so the voter
just do-
checklist, talk to Nancy.
Okay.
She'll give you guidance
I'll
on
talk to
that.
her about that.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the community center, why we're here?
I had questions about that. You told me I could ask.
You can, yeah?
Sure.
No, I'm not asking about the community.
Well, no, we're on the community center. We'll
All right,
go down.
why don't we fix the buildings that are on Route 4 first before we start building a community center?
Well, we don't own anything on
We
the
don't know
corner.
any reason.
No, but like, we could fix stuff like that up instead of having brand new buildings that nobody's gonna build. You told me I could ask about Terra Lane. How long before this contractor comes and fixes this? Or is this forever thing?
The only information from Bill is that a contractor has been hired.
So I live next door, no contractor's been by, nobody's looked at it at all. I have a camera there. Not one person has looked at it.
Again, his information is they have hired a contractor.
They haven't hired anybody, they're doing their roof over. They're having their roof torn apart right now, but it's been over 2 months.
Okay, Bill said he had a contractor.
But he doesn't.
How do you
That's
know
what I'm
that?
saying. Because Bill was on the road 3 days ago sweeping it, and he said that there was guys coming over to look at it, but nobody ever
Well,
came.
Bill's information, Jincola Construction is
I'm just-
contracted to do it.
There's nobody who has done that, that's what I'm asking.
They'll get
How
there.
long are we gonna just wait? Are we
All right.
just gonna let him ride?
Was there any more questions for Megan before we make a motion?
Do you need help?
I'll be
If you need
calling
help,
up the committees to put on our
Yeah.
postcard stamp.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
please do, it's exciting.
And the property, just so you guys know, I looked at the last, the most recent drawing, he sent me an updated drawing, and now they're working on the part for the utilities and how that would all work, so they can present that to you, if that's being paid for by
All right,
the other organization.
Yeah.
sure.
Megan, with all of the heavy rains we've had in the last 2 weeks, is the property still dry? You think, does it drain well?
I don't know, because Bill was gonna mow it, go down and mow it, and,
If not, I would put the steep bank and then a flat out, I was wondering if
well, the engineers are in and out of there, so I can ask them to go down and check that. Because they weren't gonna wait until it was mowed to get their work done. If they had, if it came up on their agenda, they were gonna get it
I'm
done.
just curious if there's standing water or anything else to just drainage the issue.
Right, you go down there and take a little walk around, let me know.
In my boots, in my rain boots. We're careful.
And the brush is high, you may start walking there and decide to turn around and come back, so until it gets mowed.
All right, so I'm working with Nancy on the postcard. Right, I mean, yeah, Nancy.
Yeah,
Okay,
they'll help you with that.
All
Yeah.
right,
And then they give you stamps and then you have fun.
okay,
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
All
No
right.
postage meter in this office?
So we gotta do a motion.
Oh, you did motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the request for postcard mailing and the survey to be for up to, I'll say $300, to come out of the MEDC, which is Mendon Economic Development Committee, their budget line item, and Nancy claimed there's still like $1,000 left, so you're good.
Great.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
May I ask one other question? In your description people may have trouble identifying just which turn and
Yep.
which buildings.
Yeah, I'll work with Nancy on that. I'm not gonna put that drawing of the contractor's building
Okay.
because I don't want people to think that's it. I have another drawing that is it's not worth putting on a postcard, but I'll certainly put the description of where it would be and the access.
I believe it's 1.75 acres, does that sound right? Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Megan, what's the timeline? When will we hear back from you about the postcards?
Well, I'm gonna be gone until next Monday, and I'm gonna work with Nancy, and then I'll put the survey together and send it to you guys to go through it, and see, how it works, if you like it, if you want me to add any questions to it. So probably the next select board meeting, I'll hope to have all that
Oh,
ready. The design of the postcard and printing it, and, yeah, I want to get it out before fall.
Yep. All right, there's a motion on the floor.
oh, let's look at that.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. ARPA timeline and project list. This is the big one.
Get a little bit
Um,
of that.
So the money that we now have from the ARPA fund, which is in the bank, and this is our total, is $302,214.22. There'll be a little interest on that. The request we have far exceed the $302,000. We're not going to do it, but we actually have one road project in Mendon that is, the funding can only come from taxpayers. There's no state funding or grants available, which would take just about all of that, but we won't go down that route. We're looking to divide this up into a whole list, like 19 things that were requested for the town office in the town garage, like security, the land records, digitizing the land records, road projects. I want to get into the local hazard mitigation plan here because we are vulnerable until December, especially with the storm coming. Public safety, and then to organizations. We also have a new request from Barstow. We have a quote request from Eastridge Circle for a generator. Some of the things that have come from our office are the continued digitization of the land records, vault upgrades, humidity control in the vault, cybersecurity upgrades, office generator. There's another fund that should be coming soon for an office generator, and it's a 90-10 match. So whatever that 10%, we could get it out of ARPA. Hybrid meeting system, which is coming up on our agenda. She had air purification system, folding chairs we already purchased, playground equipment. The one we have down there is getting in rough shape. That could be anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 according to this. There was also an ADA compliant building entrance, create a covered entrance allowing for safer access and easier maintenance during weather events, cost unknown. There was a storage shed down at the garage, garage water system repairs, additional garage bay, roof structure over diesel tank, air exchange unit. This is the garage. Salt shed, double the size of the salt shed in order to store more aggregate material. Garage generator, there is already one down there, but it's not a fixed one. And then revenue replacement, and then community-based projects. So as you can see, it's a huge list. That Val and I have to go over. We're going to come up with some kind of a percentage. Timelines on this, I think we have from 2026 to spend the money. I haven't heard anything from Otter Creek Communication Union District for broadband. I've got a feeling they're not going to be asking for money. And then Barstow has just recently sent us a request if we don't have yet, and I don't know what that is for. So that's added to the list. So we're going to do the best we can to get through this. Trying to look on the timelines here. And some of the things that are coming through, if we think it's a gray area, whether it should be funded or not, having gone through FEMA, we now send those to VLTC. Rutland Regional Planning Commission is not really going to handle those anymore. So if there's anything that's kind of iffy, we'll get their opinion on it. Select Board is still on the hook if the Treasury Department is not up to that. Also, we had a letter sent to, was addressed to Val Taylor from the Treasury Department, who's handling the ARPA and the Treasury for us. They're kind of overwhelmed. They're cutting down on staff, and so pretty much if we have questions, they're not going to help us. They just can't handle the call. So that's a big cutback there. So, all right. So we're going to continue working on the ARPA timeline. I think you got the list now. We'll kind of go through and see what catches your eye. What catches your eye. It's in your mailbox, yeah. All right, on E is a burn permit ordinance. So we had a recent brush fire on South Mendon Road, which was unpermitted. And so the emergency management director, a ticket was written and delivered by the deputy sheriff. And looking at the ordinance, our ordinance is not really up to date with the actual permit that you get from our from Seth Bridge. So we need to button that ordinance up. You have that one, is that under here? So I'll do it for a minute. So, we have a contract with the City of Rutland Fire Department, and we budget every year for two different line items. So $60,000 is for equipment, and basically that's for a truck to be sitting there in the garage, or in the fire department station, solely ready for Mendon. If any time that truck goes somewhere else, mutual aid is called, so we always have a truck available. Also with that contract, they test and backflush the dry hydrants in Mendon. On top of that, each time the City of Rutland comes with their fire truck into Mendon, it's a $750 charge. And so we budgeted, historically, we have in our current budget $30,000 set aside for that. We always encourage any Mendon resident who has a fire, a house fire, chimney fire, dial 911 right away. Because of that, our ordinance for burning brush requires a permit. And the reason for that is if you burn brush, somebody sees a fire, sees smoke, they call the fire department, and if the fire department doesn't have a burn permit sitting there by the phone or the dispatcher, that truck has to move. If that truck moves, comes into Mendon, it's $750. By having that permit there, when someone calls in and sees smoke, they'll ask, where do you see it? They'll say, it's such and such a road. They say, well, we have a burn permit in that area. We have a phone number, we'll call, see if it's under control. And so if the truck doesn't move, we don't get charged. When someone burns without the permit, the truck goes up, and now that's not fair for the taxpayers to spend or pay $750 of tax money when someone had an illegal brush fire. So we just recently had one. And our ordinance is not up to speed with what it actually costs us, the $750. The maximum we can charge in an ordinance is $800. That has been suggested. Since the $750 on top of that, you have your emergency management director involved, and also our forest fire warden. So that probably we should get up to $800. Our permit that you get from the forest fire warden does actually state that you can be charged $750. So it doesn't line up with our ordinance. So on the permit, you would get, looks something like that from the town, and then how it's addressed doesn't line up either. So this one says, in addition, violations will be subject to the Town of Mendon burn permit ordinance, which could result in a civil fine of up to $750. And our ordinance states that this goes back to commencing on or around September 1st, 2001. That contract requires the Town of Mendon to pay the City of Rutland $500 for every call in the Town of Mendon responded to by the fire department. So that's $500 is way out of date. So we want to change that 500 to 800, which is the max we can do it. The city has been treating us well by keeping that at 750, our charge. And also, there's some things on the burn permit that don't really match up to the permits that you actually get. It says obtaining a permit in writing. The permittee shall deliver it to the forest fire warden. Sometimes that can be done, or it can come back into town. And also says no more than 2 hours prior to commencing the fire, the permittee shall notify the fire department and the forest fire warden of the fact that the fire will be commenced within 2 hours. But on the permit, let's see. Okay, basically on the permit, once you get the permit from forest fire warden, and you don't hear back from the forest fire warden, you're good to go. You don't have to call Seth Bridge. So the ordinance doesn't line up with the permit. So we need to probably get this rewritten, working with Seth and Sarah, and then have legal review. So the last one, the ticket I think was for $500, and then there's an additional $50 on top of that. So the taxpayers have to take up the rest of that. All right, you got a question?
Yeah, when it says you can be fined or you can be charged, can you change that to shall or you will? When you say you can, that makes it easy for you guys to pick and choose who has to pay and who doesn't. It should say shall instead of can. We can do this.
Yeah, see, that's where we have the problem is,
You either shall or you,
Yeah,
if you
the-
say can, you get to pick and choose who you like.
the one from our fire warden, it says a civil fine of up to $750. But this doesn't match our ordinance, so therefore, our emergency management director said he has to go by the ordinance, and he could only fine him $500 plus an additional $50.
But
So,
it says can instead of shall.
this
Means
one,
you can pick and choose.
yeah, this says we pay the city of Rutland $500, which is not true anymore, it's $750.
No, the ordinance says you can be charged up to $750. Is it you can or you shall? That's the word that needs to be
It should
changed.
just say, well, when we rewrite the ordinance, and then this is gonna have to match, it should say, will result in a civil fine of $800.
Not can,
No.
so you don't get to pick and choose. That's all.
All right, so I think at this point, that needs legal review. There was another thing that Sarah sent that Phil Douglas was using. Hang on a minute. Where there was a statute that if first responders have to go, you can send a ticket for $750, but,
Should be shall. Can makes it so you can pick and choose it.
well, this is a state statute.
The state never writes a statute like that, it's shall. I guarantee it. It never says can.
If I have that or not. Let me see. Sarah, do you have that one handy? The one that Phil Douglas used?
Yeah, I'll pull it out in just a second, and just to let you know that our ordinances have used the word shall.
Okay. Yeah, well, if Sarah finds it, then we'll just kind of add that to the ordinance to review. Sorry about that, Rob.
Yeah, so where that was 24 VSA 2685, liability for cost of services. That a person who receives emergency medical treatment from an ambulance or a first responder service or transportation by an ambulance shall be liable in contract to the person providing such service for reasonable fees necessary after those services, whether or not he or she has agreed or consented to such liability.
All right, so that has been used in the past, and
I believe that's the statute that Phil Douglas was using to charge for first responder services.
okay, and I'm guessing it's a rare occasion this actually happens, but then again, okay. All right, so on the burn permit ordinance, we're gonna have to go through the whole thing. I'll start working on this and try to get up a rewrite, work with Sarah on it, and then have Seth review it. And at the same time, we'll review this to make sure the wording on this matches this, because if you went off this ordinance, you have different instructions as to if you have to call or if you don't. This one basically, and on our website, saying you submit the burn permit, if you don't hear back, then the permit is approved, and you don't have to call before you set the fire. We had a previous fire warden that he required you called just before you set the fire. So it changes with fire wardens.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Other towns must have similar relationships with the Rutland Fire Department.
I don't think so. I think We are the only town in Rutland County that does not have a volunteer of their own fire department. I can't think of another one.
Because I was going to say to you some research line.
Yeah, I think yeah. And they set the fee. And so that's why we want to set it. But then Leanie Carter, our emergency management director, said, on top of the $750, which is just exactly what the city's going to charge us, and then we charge the violator, you've got his time involved and the deputy sheriff involved if he has him to serve so he said, in the 800 is the max we can do it. So at some point, if the city raises that 750, we're still covered up to 800. Okay, on F is a hybrid meeting software. Information has been sent to us a couple times. I don't know if you have it, but I don't really need it. It's so that we can do a hybrid meeting here. So that if someone right now wants to attend, it's a lot easier. The software is called Meeting Owl 3. It's a 360-degree camera with a microphone and speaker. It will do the platforms of Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet. The camera focus on whoever is speaking, it'll turn to them and picks up that. And so any resident can easily attend the meeting, and including select board members can do it remotely too. The only thing we have to check in is with a hybrid meeting, someone has to physically be here to have the building open and to start up the camera. Nancy has researched this. Her opinion, this is the best way to go. We've had it on our agenda for a while. The cost is approximately $1,000, and that includes the software, and then I think after that it's $35 a year for the software. And then you use a laptop like that hitched to it. So.
I have a question.
Yep.
It doesn't preclude people from coming in person.
No, absolutely
But
not.
there has to be at least one select board member here.
That's the question that was asked today. We don't have an answer for it. That there has to be a select board.
And when the select board person conducting the meeting, be the one who's here, or could the person running the meeting be remote?
That's the question we don't really know. We know somebody, because I'm in other meetings, other boards and things, and, it's mostly all Zoom or go-to meetings or Microsoft Teams. But there is a physical location that people can go to that's open. So this building would have to be open, and there'd have to be somebody here. I don't know if it has to be a select board member or not, so. Yeah, it should be. I've got 10 meetings left. Not that I'm counting, my intention is to do them remotely, but we'll see when we get this up and running. And I'm not sure if, Val wants to be here or not. I'm not going to put her on the spot.
Larry, can I just make a correction?
Yes, please.
I believe that you said it was $35 a year for the charge, and I think that's per month. So it would be $420 per year. There.
Oh, wait.
I don't know. Mine vary a little from
Okay,
yours.
so subscription to Priority Quick Start software in the United States it says here $20 a month, and it's billed annually. Does that help? And that's what we have here.
$20 a month?
That's what it stated here. I can't. Yes.
So that's essentially $10 a meeting.
Yeah. And that can be used for planning, other planning commission and anyone else that wants to use it. All right, so before we get into a motion, is there any other questions on this one, or? According to this, it takes like 6 minutes to set it up. So that means
Does
like
this
2 hours
include-
for me.
Any software anywhere else in the building, or just for meetings?
I think this would be just for meetings. Yeah.
Sarah, that doesn't include anything, any other software for any other part of the building? That's just for our meetings?
I mean, I think anybody can use it for any meeting. So if you have committee meetings or any commission meetings,
Right, so in other words, if there's a committee meeting, it could be planning commission or even a local, well, any meeting, if you have members that cannot attend, this is a way to do it.
Would you do annual meeting?
no, not the annual meeting.
By statute?
Yeah, by statute, the annual meeting has to be held, in person now.
It has to be in town. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll see where this goes. I'll make a motion to purchase the hybrid meeting software called Meeting Owl 3 and the needed software that goes with it.
Second that.
And Sarah, and added to my motion is where that's going to come out of. I'm going to suggest in my motion that it comes out of ARPA funds. Okay,
Second that.
and we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. I'll contact Nancy on that to use our ARPA funds. 2023-2024 budget timeline. We have a memo here. Again, there's going to be 2 select board members working on this with our staff. This is a memo coming from Sarah, and I'm going to read it so it's in the minutes. This is from the select board regarding the 2023-2024 budget and town report of 2022. Please submit budget request input by Monday, October 17th, 2022 to Sarah Tully, Town Administrator. The Select Board will start reviewing the budget at their meeting on October 24th, 2022. You are encouraged to attend the meeting in person or remotely to discuss the area of the budget that pertains to your office. The budget will be finalized December 12th, 2022. If your department has a reserve fund, please submit future needs and plans for expenses from these funds. I am including a timeline for future expenses for each reserve fund in the town report. Please submit your report to be included in the town report by December 31st, 2022. The draft of your report can be written now with final detail incorporated in December and submitted to Sarah by year end. We strongly encourage you to submit reports to me as early as possible. You can email me at to sarah@mendonadmin@comcast.net. If you have any pictures of events or projects this year, please send them to Sarah, and she will try to incorporate them as much as possible. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Sarah or the Select Board. Okay, that's no motion on that one. That's just for
Can I ask a
information.
question?
Yep.
About the owl?
Sure.
So the $240 annually, how would we budget that? Is that different from?
So I think for the initial startup, the purchase of the Meeting Owl 3 and the software would come out of ARPA, and then after that, will probably come out of the office fund or administrative fund. Sarah? Question is,
We'll look first to see if there's any room in computers or
computer.
our computer software budget. If not, it'll just be office expense coming out of the office expense line item for in the budget plan for the 24 fiscal year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
H, Mendon Purchasing and Conflict of Interest Policy.
I don't know if I brought that.
So our purchasing policy is focused quite a bit on what FEMA requires, obviously because of Tropical Storm Irene, when we received $1.98 million approximately from FEMA, so that was our focus, to make sure that our purchasing policy met their needs. There's been a question about our purchasing policy, and this is coming from Bryan Sell, doesn't meet the one from VLTC. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm not sure where we go with this, Sarah. If this is for review, or
So
if,
essentially, Nancy recommended the select board adopt the model policy provided by FEMA, which didn't necessarily take into consideration some of the requirements in state statutes that might have been omitted because we were working with the FEMA draft.
which we've done.
VLCT does have a model policy, which we did look at, but we're told that it didn't meet FEMA requirements to adopt the FEMA policy. It's been brought to our attention from Bryan Sell that that the policy does not meet state statute. So the two policies just need to be prepared, and I will prepare the draft for the select board review. I don't think they contradict each other, so I'm hoping that we can just add the wording from state statute to update the policy, but I will have to carefully review to make sure that FEMA's policy is not contradicting or in conflict in any way of the state requirement.
All right, and this being a policy, when it's done, we can adopt this at a select board meeting. And then,
And
Yep.
because Nancy originally worked on this, I'll work with Nancy on that.
and last on the agenda, which we added, we just got an email this afternoon about a AARP winter placemaking grant. And so it looks like what it would be designed for, or the request would be for a picnic tables at the Mendon recreation area. There's no matching for this. Again, it's an application for the grant. These picnic tables are ADA compliant, to my understanding.
Yeah, so they would be able to use by legal body for their ADA compliant, so they're both.
And then Liam had sent an email that he would work on the grant, but I'm not sure if you want to collaborate on that, or this is up your alley, but there's a timeline thing here. Oh, and the timeline,
Yeah, the timeline was October 19th.
the grant deadline,
Deadline
October
for
19th.
tax is
Yep.
$4,000.
Okay. All right, so you're looking for a go-ahead to apply for the grant? That's all? Okay, make a motion to apply for the AARP Winter Placemaking Grant.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, Steve.
with you.
All right, and again, you've got a deadline of October 19th. All right, is there anything else? Do you have anything else? All right, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:05 PM.
Second that.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion is adjourned.